Hey, sports card fans, it's John, Wade Boggs fan. Hope you're all doing well. One of my favorite video series to watch on YouTube are the Showcase Showdown videos between Mike Baseball Collector and Chris from Missouri, where they battle it out to see who has the better collection, whether it be a certain player's playing day run, or now in season 4, they're looking at a particular set and all the Hall of Famers within that set. And it's all done in fun. They're great friends. They like to joke around with each other. But in those videos, they encourage people to get their own cards out from their collection and see how they do against Mike and Chris. Now, about a little over a month ago, after I completed my Hank Aaron playing days run, I did my own Showcase Showdown video where I put my Hank Aaron run up against Mike and Chris's. I did okay, not as good as Mike, but I did a little bit better than Chris. And now that I've completed my Frank Robinson playing days run, I thought I would do another video where I put my Frank Robinson cards up against Mike's and Chris's and see how I do. Now, if you're not familiar with the Showcase Showdown series over on Mike Baseball Collector's channel, the way they do the scoring system is you get 5 points for just having the card. Then if you have that card graded, you get the number grade on the slab. So if you had a PSA 5 copy of a card, you would get 5 points for having the card and 5 points for a PSA 5 for 10 total points for that card. And the player's rookie card, those points get doubled. So I'm going to turn the camera around and on the screen show what grade Mike and Chris got for a card. I'll unveil my card and show what grade it's in. We'll figure out the points, and as I go through the cards, I'll have a running total of the points. And once we get to Frank Robinson's rookie card, we'll see how my points do against Mike and Chris's. So hope you enjoy it, and so let the battle begin. All right, before I begin, even though Chris on occasion has been guilty of going out and picking up a card that he may be missing in a certain player run, or now in season 4 as they're working through specific sets and the Hall of Famers in that set, he has been known to go out and pick up a card in a pretty high grade to try to compete with Mike. Again, all done for fun. But just wanted you to know that I did not build my Frank Robinson run in the hopes of trying to compete with Mike or Chris. I'm just doing this for fun here, so we'll see how I do. The second thing is that if you missed the original Showcase Showdown between Mike and Chris, I will have a link to the video in the description of this video, so you can go check it out and see the specific cards that Mike and Chris show off in their collection. And finally, they start off with the player's final playing days card and work their way back to the player's rookie card. So for Frank Robinson, his last playing days card was the 1975 Topps card. And Mike started off with a bang with a PSA 8 copy. Chris had a PSA 5 copy, and my 1975 Topps Frank Robinson is a PSA 6. So fell behind here initially by 2 points to Mike, but I'm up by 1 very, very early on Chris. So the next card is his 1974 Topps card. Mike had an 8. Chris had a 4. And my 1974 Frank Robinson is a 7. So I picked up a couple on Chris, still fell another point behind Mike. So Mike's at 26 points, I'm at 23, and Chris is at 19 very early on. So 1973 is the next card, and Mike had a PSA 7. Chris had a PSA 3. And my 1973 Topps card is in a PSA 5.5. So again, picked up a few more points there on Chris, but man, so far Mike is pitching a shutout. gaining on both of us. So we'll see how this plays out. The next card is the 1972 Topps card, and Mike had a PSA 7. Chris had a PSA 8 off center. Now, when they have a card with a qualifier, it gets knocked down by 2 points. So it's effectively a 6. So Chris got 11 points for his 8 off center. And my 1972 Frank Robinson is in a PSA 5. So I fell 1 point to Chris and 2 more points to Mike. So he's really getting an advantage here on both Chris and I, but still early on. Next one is the 1971 Topps card. Mike had a PSA 7. Chris a PSA 4. And my 1971 is also in a PSA 4. So between Chris and I, it was a push, but both of us lost 3 more points to Mike. He's gotten off to a really strong start. All right, next is the 1970 Topps card. Now, this is a tough one because it's in the high number series of the set. Mike had a PSA 6. Chris also had a PSA 6. And my 1970 Frank Robinson is a PSA 5. So I lost 1 point to both Mike and Chris. So Chris has narrowed the lead a little bit that I have over him. All right, on to the 1960s, 1969 Topps card. Mike had a 7.5. Chris had a 5.5. And for my 1969 Topps, I have a PSA 4. So I lost some more points to both Mike and Chris. And so Chris has narrowed that gap with me to just 3 points. And Mike's taking a commanding lead here. I'm not sure if either of us will be able to catch up to Mike, but we'll see. Next one, 1968 Topps. Mike had a PSA 5. All right, maybe a shot here for Chris and I. Chris also had a PSA 5. And my 1968 Topps is a PSA 5 as well. So it was a push for all 3 of us. So no one gained, no one lost any points on that one. All right, 1967. Mike had a PSA 6. Chris had a PSA 4. All right. My 1967 Topps is also a PSA 4. So Chris and I both lost 2 points, 2 more points to Mike. But between the battle between Chris and I hasn't changed. All right, 1966. Mike had a PSA 5. All right. Chris also had a PSA 5. And my 1966 Topps is also a PSA 5. So Mike's pitching a shutout here through 1966. I don't think Chris or I have bettered Mike on any of the cards. And so far through 66, Mike has 116.5 points. I have 100.5, and Chris has 97.5 points. All right, on to 1965. Mike had a PSA 6. Chris had a PSA 4. All right, my 1965 Topps is also in a PSA 4. So again, both Chris and I lost 2 more points to Mike, but we're still neck and neck here. It's really close between Chris and I for second place. All right, on to 1964. Mike had a PSA 6. Chris also had a PSA 6. My 1964 Topps is a PSA 4. Ooh, this is getting really close now between Chris and I. Only 1 point separate us. Of course, we're well behind Mike now at this stage. All right, on to 1963. Mike had a PSA 6. Chris had a PSA 4. All right, we'll see how we do with my 1963 Topps. It's also in a PSA 4. So Chris didn't pick up any or lose any against me. We're still 1 point separating each other. On to 1962. Mike had a PSA 5. Chris had a PSA 4. My 1962 tops is a PSA 5. So I got another point up on Chris, and even things on this one, at least, with Mike. Although he has a commanding lead. Not sure if Chris or I can catch up to Mike. On to 1961. Mike had a PSA 6. Chris, a PSA 3. Well, this may open the door for me here. My 1961 tops is, it's a 3.5. So I picked up half a point on Chris, but it's still really close. We have 2.5 points separating us. All right, on to 1960. Getting toward the end here. Mike had a PSA 5. Chris, a PSA 4. Well, my 1960 tops Frank Robinson is also in a PSA 4. So we're still 2.5 points separating myself and Chris. So it's still really, really close. They may come down to the rookie card. We'll see. All right, on to 1959. Mike had a PSA 5. Chris also had a PSA 5. My 1959 tops Frank Robinson is a PSA 4.5. So Chris picked up a half a point. So now we are only 2 points separated from each other, and Mike's all the way up at 190.5 points. So I think it would be a tremendous miracle. Mike would almost not have to have the Frank Robinson rookie card for us to have a chance, and I know he does. So Mike's going to win this, but the battle now for these last 2 cards is going to be down between Chris and myself. All right, 1958. Mike had a PSA 6. Chris, a PSA 5. My 1958 Frank Robinson is a 5.5. So I picked up a precious half a point on Chris, and now it's a 2.5 point lead going into the rookie card. Now again, the rookie card, the points are double. So depending on what Chris has and what I have for his rookie card could determine second place between this 3-way battle. And up to this point, Mike has pitched a shutout. He has either tied or beaten both Chris and I on every single Frank Robinson card. But it comes down to the rookie card, his 1957 tops. Mike, he had a PSA 3. Chris, a PSA 4. All right, my Frank Robinson rookie card is also in a PSA 4. So while Mike took the crown with 217.5 points for first place, I managed to hold off Chris and win by just 2.5 points for second place. Again, this is all for fun. Hope you enjoyed watching me match up my cards with Mike's and Chris's. Fortunately, I wasn't able to include like little video clips of showing their cards off. Just in order for me to do that, to screen capture or download a video is just really hard to do. So definitely go and check out their original Showcase Showdown so you can see the actual copies of cards that Mike and Chris have in their collection. So looking forward to do another Showcase Showdown here against Mike and Chris once I complete my next Playing Days run. So would love to know what you think about this 3-way Showcase Showdown that I put together. And with that, that's all I have for you. So until next time, thanks for watching.